in my home.
With all the talk recently of AAA studio bad, indie developer good, it has made me want to revisit my favourite indie game. Now, what game is that? Well, of course, it's Hotline Miami. Hotline Miami released on the 23rd of October 2012 for Windows, and in 2013 the game got a port to macOS and Linux. Don't know why this came out a year later, and PS3 and PS Vita, and followed in 2014 by a PS4 version and a Nintendo Switch version in 2019, as well as an Xbox One, Google Stadia, PS5, Xbox Series S, and X version in 2020. This game has been released more times than fucking Skyrim. I think I can confidently say Hotline Miami is my favourite indie game of all time. The gameplay, the atmosphere, the music, the story, the aesthetic is perfect. The game's graphics are trying to go for that 16-bit Super Nintendo, Sega Mega Drive look, and oh my god is it good. The artwork for the game is high class. I want a poster of some of this stuff. One thing a lot of people don't know about me is that my favourite art style is synthwave, and that's why I use it for both my intro and outro. Just the way the purples, the pinks, the blues, the yellows combine and clash with each other is beautiful, and the palm trees and cities that gets used for this art style is next level. Also, whoever the guy is that re-uploaded the soundtrack to this game with this image, thank you, I love you, I'm stealing this. Thank you, come again. Maybe now though we should talk about the game. The game is set in 1989 Miami, Florida. You play as a man named Jacket, however you all probably know him as a funny chicken man.
I don't think that's supposed to go there.
The game starts off by giving you a tutorial on how to play the game, and the controls, and Jesus! Okay, I'm gonna be honest, playing this game with the controller is painful sometimes. You just can't be as accurate with guns. The only reason I'm playing this on PS5 is even though I own a PC that can obviously run the game, recording on PS5 is not only easier, but the game will be recorded at a better FPS. Like I said, it's not that my laptop can't run the game, it's just recording it will lose a lot of FPS. Anyway, after this tutorial you get to meet up with these three masked beings who, I don't think the names of the actual people wearing the masks ever gets unveiled, but we know the names of the masks themselves. This happens multiple times in the game, and these sections is probably where the most well-known part and most infamous moment in the game actually happens. The second time you meet with these three, you get asked 3 questions, and one of them is, do you like hurting other people? This is quite significant for a game like this that's filled with mindless violence. It's like GTA asking you, do you enjoy stealing other people's cars? It's just something you don't expect. It's like the government asking me, do I enjoy committing tax fraud? Like, fucking yes. But it puts everything into perspective. Is Jacket a psychopath? Or am I? But who cares about thinking deeply? It's all about the chaos. The gameplay is really where the game shines. It's so fast, it's so chaotic and fun. It's almost like a rhythm game. Each mask has its own ability, and if you use one other than Tony, well, you're a bit slow. Tony is fucking overpowered. You can kill people with just a single punch, and use guns and other melee weapons. Compare this to fucking Don Juan, where doors become lethal, yet no thanks, I'll keep with Tony, where getting punched feels like getting hit by a door. Tony is just overpowered, and when playing as him you feel like you're on a power trip. There's nothing more satisfying than just running into a room and beating the shit out of 2 guys. This also means he's the most reliable in bad situations where you don't have a weapon, because his fists are so deadly they're banned in 12 states. Speaking of weapons, there are a large assortment of them to help with your massacre, like metal pipes, baseball bats, knives, shotguns, mini submachine guns, pool cues, pots and pans, cause fuck it, why not? Go nuts, go on a massacre, annihilate the entire Russian population of America. Why stop at that? Massacre every police officer and citizen you see. Remember, when they're all dead, it all stops. When you complete a level, it all goes silent as you walk through the piles and piles of dead bodies covered in blood, and you walk out like nothing ever happened. The only other game I can really compare this to is the first Postal game. When everyone is dead, it's silent as you walk through and process everything that just happened. Postal is another game that is similar to Hotline Miami and is usually seen as a game that inspired Hotline Miami. Just the pure silence though. No gunshots, no music, which is such a sudden change from the fast-paced music and shooting that just happened. And what I think pushes the player forward is the difficulty in Hotline Miami. You are a one-hit kill, so that means you'll be experiencing this a lot. The game is utterly brutal and unapologetic about it. Because of that difficulty, it does mean that there's nothing more satisfying than beating a section that kicked your ass. And what makes it worse is the collision detection just feels like it's working against you sometimes. One good example is in one of the last levels. Now in this section of the game, you can't use guns, but of course, every enemy is far away. And this is when the lock-on feature decides to only work about 4% of the time, and it just feels unfair. But in this section, it constantly felt like I was getting stuck on things. While I'm complaining about things in the game, I just quickly want to talk about Chapter 12, because fuck this level. This level is different to every other level in the game. Instead of going on a massacre, instead you're trying to escape a hospital. This means that you need to be stealthy, and it just doesn't work. The detection is unbearable, and it commits one of the cardinal sins in any stealth section in a video game: the lack of consistency. What gets you caught one time won't another time. The only other stealth game that I can think has a problem like this is Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, and that is the biggest problem with that game. It also just isn't clear what you're supposed to do. It's clear how you get out of the room and where to go from there, but nothing else. I thought you had to get back through because the X symbol was still on the window, but no, you have to go to the elevator and go down the stairs and then get out. Let me be clear, most of my complaints about the game are nitpicks and just stuff that annoyed me when playing the game, and this could just be stuff that isn't even that bad and was just me losing my patience more and more and getting more and more frustrated because, like I said, the game is very, very hard. But I think one thing that needs to remember when playing the game, and the game even tells you this in a loading screen tip: don't fear dying, because the levels are so short and you respawn so fast that you barely lose any progress. Because this, I believe you can play more boldly, and if you die, you lose, what, 30 seconds of progress? That doesn't make the shotgun sound any less annoying after dying 40 times though. But I believe the difficulty makes you more pissed off, and that makes the mowdown of enemies even more satisfying and rewarding. But something that keeps the adrenaline pumping is the music. The soundtrack is absolutely amazing and truly fits with the 80s aesthetic, and I would play you some, but it's copyrighted. But thank God for the 7-second rule, so I can play you a bit. Like, what else is there even to say about the music other than it's perfect? It feels so rhythmic with the gameplay and makes the game almost feel like a rhythm game. Okay, I've put this off for long enough. We have to talk about the story. I think the greatest way to express a story is just to go on Microsoft Paint and start scribbling. So I'm going to explain this the best way I can. Skip this timestamp on screen if you don't want any spoilers for this 13-year-old game. The game starts in April 1989, where our main protagonist, Jacket, gets a phone call and a package with a rooster mask in it. He's sent on a mission to retrieve a briefcase from the Russian mafia at a train station. Throughout the game, this secret organization proceeds to keep sending Jacket these messages, and after one job on a film producer, he saves this woman. She doesn't have a name, and according to the wiki, her name is Girlfriend. Let's just hope she doesn't become trans. One mission you run into this guy, Biker. They really have the greatest names, don't they? This character will become important later, but for now, it's a battle to the death. Jacket comes home one night to find his girlfriend has been murdered by Richard, who tells Jacket he will never see the full picture, and proceeds to shoot Jacket. And with that, we move on to son of a fucking bitch! Fuck! This is when it's revealed that everything up to this point we experienced in a coma after being shot by Richard. After Jacket escapes the hospital, after overhearing Richard has been arrested, Jacket storms into the police station, murdering everyone, getting to Richard, and it turns out he's been getting these calls too. So Jacket steals the police investigation files and spares Richard's life. At least according to the plot, but I fucking didn't. Jacket heads to the nightclub where the calls are being tracked from and kills everyone, and then proceeds to go to the Russian Mafia headquarters and confronts the leaders. After injuring one of them and their personal bodyguard, they take their own life to spare Jacket of the pleasure, and when confronting the other, he just lets Jacket kill him. After that, Jacket walks onto the balcony, has a cigarette, and throws off a photo. So that's the main part of the story done, but after you beat Jacket's levels, you get access to the epilogue, involving the biker guy from earlier. Similarly to Jacket, he's also been getting these strange calls, and he's on a mission to find the source. He runs into Jacket and kills him, and after a couple of interrogations, he finds the group to be 50 Blessings, a group operated by two janitors which are attempting to undermine the anti-American alliance between the Soviet Union and America. The biker proceeds to kill them. One cool thing throughout the story is it shows how fucked Jacket is in the head, communicating with dead people and imagining every story is ran by the same person. It's a cool subtle hint that not everything is as it seems. So that is Hotline Miami. And I love this game. It's not a long game, only consisting of 19 chapters and 2 bonus ones, and can be beaten in about 5 hours. The game went on to win many awards, and is considered as one of the most influential and successful indie games, and 3 years later they released a sequel, Hotline Miami 2 Wrong Number. I want to say this off the bat, I do not like this game as much as the first game. I don't hate it, I still really like it, it's just not nearly as much as I liked the first game. They changed how they design levels to be more open, as I believe they wanted to encourage more playstyles, but I believed this did the complete opposite and they restricted more playstyles. It's not a bad game, just not as good as the first one in my opinion. They even nerfed my boy Tony, now he's only slightly overpowered. I love Hotline Miami. The art style, the music, the gameplay, the story. I think it all comes together to make the perfect game. And that's why I think it is the best indie game of all time. And it's not filled with shitty jump scares. Seriously, FNAF sucks.
So I'll play through. Ah, fuck! What the fuck? Someone wrote this song before, and I could tell you where it's from. Before 73625.
Poor Kanye, so misunderstood.
It's better now than it was.
There we go.